So here are some questions like the ones on your project, just to show you how you would find each answer. Okay, so what we have here is a chart where someone has started to fill out the number of sides in a polygon, what the measure of each angle would be in that polygon, and these are regular polygons, meaning all sides and angles are the same, are congruent, and what the sum of the measures would be. There's a few spaces missing here. We want to fill those in. So let's talk about how do we know what the sum of the measures of a polygon will be. Well, the sum of the measures of the angles is always the number of sides minus 2 times 180 for any polygon. So for example, this four-sided polygon here, we could find the sum of its measures, which is our missing space P. Okay, 4 minus 2 is 2. And 2 times 180 is 360. So right here, I would have 360. So far, I know P is 360 degrees. Okay. Next, we have Q, which is missing. It's for a 7-sided figure. Okay, so for a 7-sided figure, they already found the sum of the measures for me. It's 900 degrees. Well, how do I know how much each angle is going to be? Because that's the part that's missing, is the measure of each angle. Well, this is a regular polygon, so all the angles are the same. There are 7 of them, so I'm just going to take that 900 and I'm going to divide it into 7 equal angles. Okay, when I do that, I get about, I'm in around here, 128.6. Okay, so my Q, so for my next answer, I know Q is 128.6. When I took my total of 900 divided by 7, because there were 7 sides, and the one you're working on, you're going to do 5 and 6 sides, but you do it in a similar way, just with 5 and 6 instead. Okay, the 8-sided figure, we're missing both the sum and the measure of each angle. Find the sum first. Okay, so again, to find the sum, you use the n minus 2 times 180, where n is your number of sides. This is an 8-sided figure, so I'd go 8 minus 2 is 6, and 6 times 180 is 1080. So my S here is 1080 in my chart. And now I need to know what's the measure of each angle. Well, there were 8 angles. They're all congruent because this is a regular polygon. So I just take my 8080 and I divide by 8. It looks like each angle would be 135 degrees. So I found my last number in the chart is 135. Okay, so then R is 135. Okay, so again, you're going to be working with different numbers, but you will do it in a similar manner. Okay, here's another question. It wants me to find the measure of angle RKL. Well, where is RKL? It's the measure going from R down to K and then out to L. So it's this measure, this angle that's labeled 2x. I can't put 2x as my answer. So the first thing I have to do is find some equation that I can use so that I can solve for x, then substitute that back in to find the actual measure of angle RKL. Well, let's see, what are we dealing with? Well, notice we have, these are exterior angles. There is one at each vertex of this 4-sided figure. What do we know about the exterior angles of any polygon? Well, the exterior angle sum theorem said that for any polygon, the sum of the exterior angles is always 360. So we know if we add these 4 exterior angles together, it should equal 360, and that's our equation we're going to use, and we'll solve it to find x. So let's add them together. So I have the angle that was 2x plus the next angle is 4x plus 10. Plus my next angle, which is 4x minus 6, plus my final angle, which is 2x plus 8. Now double check, make sure you wrote them all down correctly, and again their sum should be 360. Now let's simplify. So let's combine all the x's. I have 2, 4, 4, and 2. Well, 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 4 more is 10, plus 2 more is 12. So I have 12 x's. Let's combine our numbers. So I have 10 minus 6 is 4, plus 8 is 12. Okay, and again, the 360 we got because the sum of the exterior angles of any polygon is always 360. Let's go from there. We want to solve for x. So I have a plus 12. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. We take 360 minus 12 is 348. Okay, then we have 12 times x, so we do the opposite, divide both sides by 12, and we will have our answer for x, but we're not done. Okay, so we get x is 29. Now the question asked, what's the measure of angle RKL? We found out x is 29, so now we can come back to angle RKL. RKL was equal to 2x, and we just found out that x is 29, so RKL would be 2 times 29, or 58. So the measure of angle RKL would be 58 degrees. Now notice I did different numbers than yours. This is how you would do the problem, but you need to redo it with the right numbers in it. Okay, here's another application. What is the measure of angle GCD? Where is GCD? Well, GCD, and it's located where your middle letter is, so it's this angle right here. I'm going to call it X since I have Y's other place in my figure. This is what I'm looking for eventually. Okay. Notice the variables they gave me are all in this figure. So let's work out a process to find this. Well, we could use the angle sum theorem for our figure over here. The problem is we're missing this angle right here, and we're missing our x, so we can't do that yet. If we could figure out what this angle is, then we could say, well, the sum of these angles is 360 because it's a four-sided figure, okay? And we could solve. So first, our first job here is to find the measure of this angle at D. Well, it's a linear pair with this one. I know this is kind of a long process. So I'm kind of working backwards. Here's how we're going to find our answer. Our angle D is a linear pair, meaning they form a straight line and add to be 180 with this angle. So if I can find this angle, then I can find angle D, and I can use angle D along with the other angles in this quadrilateral to find my missing angle that they want. So this is going to be a long process. We're going to go one step at a time. So step one is to find the measure of this angle right here. We notice that we have over here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided figure, so a pentagon. And I know all of the angles inside that pentagon, just some of them have y's in them. Well, what should the sum of those angles be? For a pentagon, which is a 5-sided figure, so again, for interior angles, we take the number of sides minus 2 times 180, and that tells us the sum of the angles inside that polygon. So a 5-sided figure, 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 times 180 is 540. So this polygon has a total of 540 degrees for its interior angles. So I'm going to set up an equation to find y. I'm going to add all of those interior angles I have. So 2y plus 12 plus 3y plus 2y minus 2 plus 110 plus our final angle 3y should equal 540 degrees, again because they are the interior angles of a 5-sided figure. Let's simplify. So we put our y's together, so we have 2 and 3 would be 5, plus 2 more would be 7, plus 3 more would be 10y. Our numbers, we have 12 minus 2 is 10, plus 110 is 120. Altogether, those equal 540. So again, you just combine your y's, combine your numbers. Let's solve for y now. So we have a plus 120. To move that, we would subtract 120 from both sides. We get 10y equals 420. And the last thing we have to do, we have 10 times y, divide both sides by 10, and we will have our answer of y, not our answer for the entire problem though. Okay, so we get that y is 42. Now remember, our goal was to find y so that we could find the measure of this angle right here, so that we could find the measure of this angle and then find our angle we're looking for. So we're one step in. Let's go to the next step, which was to find the measure of this angle here. It says it's 2y minus 2. We just found out that y is 42. So we go 42 times 2 is 84. Minus 2 is 82 degrees. So this angle is an 82-degree angle. Let's move on to the next step, which is to find our angle here. Now again, the way we were going to find it is that notice the angle here and our 82-degree angle are a linear pair. They form a straight line. So together they should be 180. So to find our missing angle, we're going to take 180 minus that 82-degree angle, because that'll tell us the number of degrees that are left for our angle there. And this is obviously not drawn to scale. Okay, this is a 98-degree angle. Okay, so we're almost there. Now we're supposed to again find this angle we marked as x. It is inside of a four-sided figure. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. We have all of the angles except for it. So what is the sum of the interior angles of a four-sided figure? If you don't remember, you can always go back and use the formula again. The sum of the interior angles of any polygon is the number of sides minus 2 times 180. So for a four-sided figure, 4 minus 2 is 2, and 2 times 180 is 360. So this figure should have a total of 360 degrees for its interior angles. So to find our missing angle, we're going to add those together. So we have x plus 68 plus this one is a 90-degree angle because it's marked as a right angle, plus 98 equals 360. Let's combine our like terms. So we're going to add our 68, our 90, and our 98. We get 256. So we have x plus 256 equals 360. Finally, we're going to solve. That's plus 256. So if we subtract 256 from both sides, we get 104. Whew, we're done. So it was definitely a multi-step process. We had to find the sum of degrees inside a five-sided figure was 540. We added those angles together inside of that figure equal to 540 and solved to find y. We then substituted that in to find our angle down here. Used this angle to find the angle next to it in our four-sided figure, and then we used the four angles here, add to equal 360, and solve to find our missing angle. The measure of angle GCD in this example is 104. Again, this is the process that you would use. You have different numbers, but you go through the same process and you'll get your answer.